organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, we'll take a look at how one group on campus is bringing more musical talent to Iowa City.
And in sports, Matt Gatens continues to impress Iowa Hawkeye fans and got a big boost from a few thousand friends last week.
That's all coming your way next, right here on Daily Iowan TV.
From Studio 151, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan, this is Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for tuning into your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm John Detcott. Governor Terry Branstad is the new chairman of the Midwestern Governors Association. The group of 10 Midwestern state leaders met in Washington Sunday, and according to the Associated Press, Branstad says he is determined to improve clean energy production and promote a positive image of the Midwest. Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton was selected to become the vice chairman. And the downtown bar, the Library, will soon lose its exemption to the 21 ordinance, but that doesn't mean that underage patrons are getting kicked out. All new bars in Iowa City get a 6-month exemption to the 21 ordinance, and while that's about to expire at the Library, managers there say they plan to split the bar, one floor serving alcohol and one floor serving pop and alcohol-free mixed drinks. That split will go into effect this Thursday, and the City Council will reevaluate its effectiveness after 60 days. And the Iowa City School District is taking additional measures to ensure student safety following a recent audit. In efforts to avoid misconduct, officials say the district will soon begin conducting yearly background checks on vendors that come in contact with children. Though the background checks will cost the district roughly $25 each, parents and board members alike agree it's money well spent. And if you ever feel like there's nothing to do on the weekends, well, a new organization called the College Daily aims to bring more entertainment options to college campuses nationwide. Daily Iowan TV's Muriel Kone has more on how these UI students are looking beyond Iowa to improve the national nightlife.
Music, shows, sports. Just to name a few of the topics the College Daily hopes to bring to students in their everyday college routine. And so how does this all work?
And we decided that it would be a great way for people to voice their opinions about their college experience and demonstrate exactly how their college experience is on their campus.
And to ensure that more students have these college experiences, the organization has expanded to 10 to 15 college campuses nationwide. So what exactly sets the College Daily apart from other organizations with similar interests?
What makes us different is we focus squarely on the college crowd, and not only exactly for the show, but we give them a way for them to express their feelings on how the shows actually are and what they like about it, what they dislike about it.
One of the more accessible ways for students to voice their feelings is through the College Daily website, where students have access to news, music, and show links.
We want to demonstrate the real college experience through the eyes of college kids actually living on the campus. The way I see it is I'm spending $30,000 to go to school. I want to know exactly how the school is.
The group plans on expanding even more, bringing in bigger shows and larger audiences. This is Muriel Kone, Daily Iowan TV.
Still more to come on Daily Iowan TV. A whiskey pioneer shares his secrets for business success. And in sports, Iowa swims its best Big Ten championship weekend in years at its home pool. That's coming up in just a bit, but first let's go to Muriel Kone again for your local weather forecast. Muriel?
Well, John, the weather's all over the place this week. Tomorrow we'll start off with a fairly sunny day with morning temperatures in the mid-20s and lower 30s in the afternoon. But overnight, expect to see a drop in temperatures as snow showers come in. The snow will continue into Tuesday with freezing rain and icy conditions, so be careful if you're heading out to class in the morning. We'll also start to see a few more snow showers arrive on Wednesdays with high in the upper 30s, and the sun will be back on Thursday with partly cloudy skies with a high of 42 degrees. But that doesn't end there. Friday and Saturday, the rain, snow, and flurries will be back, taking us into the weekend. That's your look at the weather. Back to you.
Thanks, Muriel. Proxy cards will soon be obsolete on the University of Iowa campus following a recent contract agreement with Hills Bank. Though some students currently carry both a proxy card and a student ID, the UI will soon streamline door accessibility to a one-card system. The change comes after the UI completed the $3 million installation of proxy card readers across campus last fall. Students will be able to switch to a one-card system sometime near the end of the semester. And things got a little heated at the Johnson County Jail over the weekend when 2 inmates allegedly started a fire while playing with a television in the day room. Complaints from the Sheriff's Department say Sylvester Campbell and Robert Nash were tampering with the television when it began to spark and started a small fire. Two men then allegedly took the flaming television into a cell occupied by other inmates, causing a safety threat. They were both charged with reckless use of fire. And the president of Iowa's Templeton Rye Spirits says his great-grandfather's whiskey recipe is the secret to Templeton Rye's business today. But is this popular drink really Iowan? Tasha Woods has the story.
Templeton Rye is now a booming business developed by Scott Bush. But how did this thriving whiskey business get started? Bush's great-grandfather, Frank Schroeder, a farmer near Templeton, Iowa, made rye whiskey to make money in order to keep his farm during the Dust Bowl and the 1930s Great Depression. Bush left a career in banking and resurrected the brand in 2001. Templeton Rye thrives on its Iowa-based advertising, and while the whiskey recipe originated in Iowa, it is brewed in a still in Indiana, according to Wally Plahutnik.
The lure of it being illegal and part of the Capone gang, the kind of entrepreneurial spirit of the people of the time, just Americana, all those different things. You know, and I'm a small-town Iowa guy, and the fact that there's not really been too many branded products that celebrate the state of Iowa, but yet there's tons of pride in our state. So it was just very intriguing for me to get started.
I'm here in the DI newsroom with Beth, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the event that happened on Friday.
I was at a Papa John business building event with the founder and president of Templeton Rye Whiskey. Scott Bush was there, the founder, and he spoke a little bit about his family's history with the Templeton Rye recipe. His great-grandfather developed it in the pre-Prohibition era on their family farm in Templeton, Iowa, and he kind of developed an interest to restart the family tradition in 2001. And the beer's actually produced in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and then shipped over here to Iowa to brew, to bottle. But the demand here is definitely still very high, and everyone seems to love it around here in Iowa City.
Great. Thanks. Back to you guys at the desk.
Wally says that while Templeton Rye is truly from a still in Indiana, its Iowa fame continues to bring in customers, even from out of state. And now Daily Iowan TV's Ian Martin is here for your look at Hawkeye sports.
The Hawkeyes had a little help in their surprise win over Wisconsin last week. A packed student section, the thousands of gold-clad scholars who got in free were not disappointed as Iowa faced off against number 15 Wisconsin. Our Chelsea Byrne was there.
Most people haven't seen Carver like it was tonight in a long time. Filled to the brim with black and gold, Hawk fans came to see a show, and boy did they get one. A second straight win over a ranked Badgers squad was the spark Iowa needed with just 3 games left in the regular season. The 67-66 victory gave Iowa its 4th upset over a ranked team this season. But the real story in this fairy tale night was this guy. Matt Gatens had a career-high 30-point game against Indiana last Sunday, but that didn't satisfy the Iowa City native. He followed that up with a career-high 33-point game Thursday, hitting 7 of 10 outside the arc and putting the Hawkeye crowd in a frenzy.
It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. He just pulled the trigger, and once he got going, he was on fire.
With Gatens hot early on, the Hawkeyes pulled away quickly, heading into the half with a 9-point lead. The Badgers did everything in their power to battle back, coming within 2 late in the game. That is until Iowa's fearless leader iced it by hitting 2 last-minute free throws and making it a Hawkeye victory.
It feels great, but the 2 victories are what means the most to me. We're 7-8 in the league now. It's a big step for us.
These last 2 games have now given everyone a sense that it might finally be Iowa's time. Chelsea Byrne, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
And be sure to watch Daily Iowan TV tomorrow for full highlights and reaction from Champaign after Iowa's game tonight versus Illinois. And swim teams from all over the Midwest flooded Iowa City this weekend for the Big Ten Swimming and Diving Men's Championships. It's the first time the Hawkeyes have hosted the event in 20 years. Daily Iowan TV's Kyle Hughes was at the finals on Saturday night.
The Iowa Hawkeyes entered the final day of competition, the Big Ten Men's Swimming and Diving Championships, in 4th place. And while they were unable to hold on to that 4th place mark, they finished the night with a huge win in the final event. And there was plenty of hardware to be handed out on Saturday night. We started things off with the 1,650-yard freestyle, where Michigan set the tone finishing first, second, and third in that event. Iowa's David Belzer took home 6th. Next up, it was Dustin Rhodes, the sophomore, taking home a 7th place finish in the 200-yard backstroke. And then it was Paul Gordon and Ryan Phelan coming up huge for the Hawkeyes in the 100-yard freestyle. Paul Gordon just barely getting out-touched. He finished in 2nd place while Ryan Phelan took home 5th. The Hawkeyes were in 4th place at that time, but the next 3 events proved costly, Iowa eventually dropping down to 5th. But the Hawkeyes still finished strong, finishing first in the 400-yard freestyle relay, with Duncan Partridge, Ryan Phelan, Jordan Huff, and Paul Gordon combining to set a pool record. You see Paul Gordon pulling away in the final leg and giving the Hawkeyes the victory.
We moved up in the Big Ten, and that was the goal at the beginning of the season that we talked with Coach Long. And yeah, I guess we just raced hard and we moved up, and at the end of the day, I think we're all very proud of Hawkeyes.
We had so many meets that came down to this foreign freestyle relay. It was only fitting that they had an opportunity to pull out the win, and also we had to deal with some real adversity today, with some injuries to some of our top guys, and they really pieced it together here at the end. You know, we just slipped out of 4th here at the last the platform diving. Minnesota really passed us there at the last minute, so to miss that spot by a couple points, that's disappointing. However, let's face it, if we want to be winning this thing down the road, and we have a lot of work to do for that.
From the CRWC, Kyle Hughes, Daily Iowan TV.
Let's take one look at the final team scores from the weekend. Michigan swimming's powerhouse program won its 36th Big Ten title, including its 2nd in a row, spurred by a couple of 1, 2, 3 finishes in the final day. A not-so-close 2nd place was Ohio State, who narrowly held off Indiana, while Minnesota passed Iowa on the second-to-last event of the final night when it won the platform diving final. No Hawkeye competed in that event. And on the bottom half, it was Penn State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Northwestern, and Michigan State in that order. And swimmers weren't the only individuals competing for medals this weekend in the Big Ten. Both men's and women's track and field were at the indoor championships in Lincoln, Nebraska. 2 Hawkeyes took gold in their respective events. Senior Troy Doris out-jumped the rest of the conference for Iowa's first title on Saturday, while senior Eric Sowinski won the 800-meter race. The rest of the races for Iowa, though, not so good. The Hawkeyes finished 8th overall in men's and 10th overall in women's. That's all for sports. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Ian. And now let's take a look at some of the top headlines from across the globe. NASCAR fans were left out in the rain today following a delay at the Daytona 500. The race was originally scheduled to start this afternoon, but was delayed due to rain. The race will now be at noon on Monday. And Australian media mogul Rupert Murdoch says he plans to launch a new tabloid. The launch comes just 7 months after Murdoch's best-selling tabloid newspaper, News of the World, was shut down following a phone hacking and bribery scandal. The new paper will serve as a Sunday edition of Murdoch's Sun tabloid, which was previously a 6-day-per-week paper. And several U.S. service members were left injured after a protest over the burning of Qurans at a U.S. base in Afghanistan today turned violent. Though the demonstration began peacefully, officials said protesters threw a hand grenade into the base, injuring 7 U.S. military personnel. 1 protester is dead and 16 police are wounded. And most kids dream of becoming a superhero one day, but one Oregon boy took his fantasy to the next level when he dressed in all black and actually left his house by himself in the middle of the night to look for bad guys. 7-year-old Liam Baird snuck out of his house sometime between midnight and 4 o'clock, taking 2 books and his trusty Nerf gun. Liam didn't find any criminals, but luckily he did find a police officer who took him home to his parents. And you gotta respect the enthusiasm there. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak preview of tomorrow's print edition of the Daily Iowan. Read about how local businesses are benefiting from a switch to energy-efficient light bulbs. Plus, find out how a new student group is fighting the Iowa legislature in the pursuit of immigrant rights. And that'll do it for this edition of Daily Iowan TV. Check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com. Thanks for watching and have a great night.